This was something that shocked me. And on UNCG's behalf, I found it offensive. The SoCon preseason poll placed the Spartans to finish 6th in the league this year. You want to know the last time UNCG finished outside the top 5 in the Southern Conference standings? 2015. It's been 9 straight seasons of UNCG in the top 5. 7 of those, they've been in the top 3. With that in mind, we welcome UNCG coach Mike Jones to the show. Coach, are you familiar with the Michael Jordan and I took that personal meme?
No, yeah, somebody's going to have to send that to me. But I do know what it means to take it personal. And this is not that case, man. I'm not taking it personal. As a matter of fact, it's just, preseason rankings, really don't have a whole lot of value. But what it does tell me is what other people think of our team. And that has absolutely nothing to do with what goes on in our program every day and in our circle and in our practices. So it really has no bearing on anything that we do.
All that's true, and I respect it. But I know that Dan Hurley guy at UConn, he will use every slight to his advantage. Kirby Smart, we've seen it at Georgia. Is this bulletin board material?
I haven't decided. I might use it. I don't be surprised if I do use it a little bit.
Yeah, you can just remind people.
It is a lot of pressure. Hey, man, we can't. It's been a long time since UNCG's finished outside of that. So if the rankings are true, then that's not good for us. But we're not worried about that, man. We're worried about getting better every time we step on the floor. That's about it.
Let's talk about your team and also still talk about ancient history. It feels like. How does it hit you that this year is going to be the first time that you don't have a player named Langley on your roster?
Yeah, it's when I got the job here, you could not have told me that I was going to coach them for 3 years, and that's exactly what happened. Got a chance to have those guys leading our program for the first 3 years of my tenure here at UNCG, and it's really had a lot to do with why we've had success over the last 3 years. So definitely going to miss those guys.
Here's a stat. This is the first time since the 2018-2019 season that there is not a Langley on the UNCG basketball team. The head coach of the Spartans is Mike Jones, and he's with us here. So now you need, it seems, Donovan Atwell, who was a fun double-digit scorer a game last year for you. You need him to take another step, it would seem. What's been the most fun part of his journey, recruiting him out of Providence Day a few years ago and watching him the first 2 years in Greensboro?
Yeah, when we had Don on his visit, he's got a lot of family in the area, but they're a very close-knit family. And somehow they all showed up at a dinner on his visit. And from that moment on, man, it's just been a lot of fun having him around. He is one of those players that only come around every, once in a while, that, not only do they do everything that you ask, but they go extra hard every single day and get the most out of every rep. And so, you can't help but get better when you have that approach to it, when you listen and you play, as hard as you can and try to do things the way people want them done. And, you can't help but have success, and that's exactly what's happened with Donovan. And his game has grown. He's matured. He's going to show everybody a different aspect of his game this year. He's really worked hard on it in the summer, and all of that is going to show on the court this year. So I'm excited to see what kind of year he has.
Mike Jones with us here, UNCG basketball coach. Looking at your schedule, go support the Spartans Monday, November 4th, 12 days from now, UNCG facing Florida Gulf Coast. Looking at your schedule, you go to Assembly Hall at Indiana. There were a lot of local schools that should lead to some fun matchups, but I don't see any of the local ACC squads, unless you count SMU, of course, who's now in the ACC. How difficult is it behind the scenes to try to line up some of those teams?
Yeah, it's really been impossible. We've had relationships with some coaches, and we've called them, early. Sometimes you call them, they say, "Oh, I wish you would have called earlier." So the next year we say, "Hey, let's call them as early as we possibly can," and still, we haven't been able to secure one of those. And we would love to, play any of them really. We've literally tried to get a game with every single team in the ACC over the 3 years that we've been here. And fortunately, this year SMU who is a new member of the league, has agreed to play us. So we'll be down there on the 11th of November. But one of these days we'll get the one of those ACC guys to play us in the Greensboro Coliseum. That'll be a lot of fun.
Let's hope that's next year, because I remember Roy Williams used to love playing Wes Miller and UNCG the years that the ACC tournament was in Greensboro. It's going to be in Charlotte this coming season. Next year next season they'll be in Greensboro. So maybe that's the pitch, coach. Hey, man, get to walk through some of the processes here of what a game day looks like here, since you might want to win an ACC championship, Team A, B, or C.
Yeah, we'll try that. We tried that before. We'll try that again. But things have changed so much in scheduling. But we're fortunate. We get to play our games in the Greensboro Coliseum. This year we'll play several games in Fleming as well, which is a great home court advantage for us. We played Eastern Kentucky there last year and had an exciting game. So this year we'll play High Point and a couple of conference games in addition to the non-Division I games that we play in there. So come on out and support the Spartans, man. I think we're going to have an exciting team that a lot of people just don't know about right now.
Year 4 for you at the G, trying to make the tournament for the first time. What would it mean for you to break through and get to the dance in Greensboro?
Well, everybody wants to make the dance. 300 and however many teams and more adding every year because they want to play in March Madness. And I'm fortunate. I've gotten a chance to coach a team in that tournament and win a game. And you just got to keep knocking at the door every year. And I think in the last 2 years, especially, we have been knocking at that door, and it just hasn't happened for us. But our approach is exactly the same this year. And if we are fortunate enough to do that, I think we're going to have the kind of team that, when you make it through the SoCon, which is such a tough and underrated league, you're going to have a chance to win a game in the tournament, if not 2 games. And so our goal is to not only get there, but to show everybody that we deserve to be there, and we are a team that can beat people and win games in that tournament. So that's the goal. It would feel great if it happens. And, we're obviously working toward that every day.
Last thing for Mike Jones, UNCG basketball coach. Prior to arriving to Greensboro, you spent close to 15 years in the state of Virginia coaching. Tony Bennett, he resigns last week. He's retiring from basketball. How would you best capture to our audience what that man represents in the state of Virginia?
Well, for him to come in and play a style that's different from everybody else, and then to make that style work so well that he, won ACC championships. But the thing that was most impressive to me about Coach Bennett, and one of my former assistants, Kyle Getter, worked with him in the year that they lost to a 16th seed in
UMBC, yeah.
And the next year when they won the national championship, is that when they lost, the way Coach Bennett handled the loss enabled him and his team to have a chance to win the next year. And that's hard to do. It's tough enough to lose a game on a Thursday and get your team up to play a good team on a Saturday, but to lose a national championship in historic fashion and then turn around and win the championship the next year under the most extreme circumstances. I think they were about to lose in the semis to Auburn and found a way to win. That's a testament to his leadership. And so what he has meant to the state is, number one, his faith in God has been strong, and he's really given his testimony in coaching and throughout the state of Virginia and in the country, but also to just be that kind of a leader that can bring you back from the depths is really impressive.
Mike Jones, you're an impressive guy. It's good to hear from you. Best of luck. We look forward to 12 days from now, your team facing Florida Gulf Coast.
Hey, to God be the glory. Thanks, guys, for having me on.